is that the new recruits or new members of the village defense committees will be given proper weapons training and defense training. Tejinder Sodhi now joins us live. So Tejinder, so there is not too much of a gap between a commitment to action and action itself in terms of reviving the VDCs, strengthening them, and also weaponizing or arming them properly.
Indeed, Anand, you rightly pointed out that there has been no gap. The Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir seems to be fulfilling all the assurances that he gave to the people of Dangri. The Dangri is the same village in Rajouri district which witnessed twin terror attacks in which 6 innocent people, including 2 civilians, 2 children, I beg your pardon, 2 children, they lost their life. Now, the very same day, the Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, Manoj Sinha, he visited the spot and he assured the people there that the village defense committees in the area would be revived, they would be given arms, ammunition, so as they can fight the terrorists. You see, Anand, the same day when the terrorist attack did take place in the Dangri village, there was one village defense committee member who used one of his old weapons to fire at the terrorists. Had he not fired on the terrorists, the number of casualties would have been much larger. But it was because of him, his name is Bal Krishan, it was because of the Bal Krishan, a former VDC member who used his old weapon to fire at the terrorists, that the number of casualty was down. And this fact has also been acknowledged by the Lieutenant Governor, by the Jammu and Kashmir Police. And today we saw the old weapons of these village defense committee members who are active in the Dangri village. They are being repaired, they are being given new weapons, and new ammunition is being given to those village defense group members in Dangri so as to fight terrorism. Anand, you see, while the central government is also serious to safeguard life and security of the local resident, the local administration here in Jammu and Kashmir is also not leaving a stone unturned to ensure that the local population in the Dangri village, they are safeguarded, they remain safe. 18 companies of CRPF are already on way to Poonch and Rajouri so as to thwart any other attempt of the terrorists to target the local population there. Yes, Anand.
Right. A quick question. Is this only with the Dangri village and also that region, or is this now going to be an exercise across all the Chenab Valley, the entire valley, and also other parts of Jammu where in the past there used to be VDCs?
See, Anand, gradually the VDCs would be revived. This is the assurance that the Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, Manoj Sinha, has given to the people in Poonch, Rajouri, and also in the Chenab Valley, the erstwhile Doda district, which include Doda, Kishtwar, Ramban, Bhadarwa. So village defense groups would be revived in those areas. But initially in the Dangri village, it is being revived because Dangri is the village where the local residents, they had to bear the brunt of this terror attack in which 6 civilians, including 2 children, they lost their life. The people there, since this attack took place, have been demanding that they should be armed, they should be given weapons so that whenever any terrorist from Pakistan or anywhere else dares to enter into the village, he should think several times before carrying out a similar kind of attack. You see, Anand, there are multiple inputs with the security agencies that terrorists are planning to carry out similar kind of attack in the region, and that is why the security setup is being enhanced in the area so as to thwart any such attempt by the terrorists in the area. Yes, Anand.
Right. Thank you for your input, Tejinder. So clearly the VDCs are now going to be revived. They're going to be strengthened and providing them weapons and also perhaps repairing some of the weapons that they have had, maintenance of that, and also training to the new members of the VDCs. All of that has started with that Rajouri district, that is the Dangi village, where the twin attacks happened. Moving on to big news coming through on the ICICI or Chanda Kochar combined, and that entire case of the loan between Videocon and ICICI Bank, the involvement of Venugopal Dhoot and Chanda Kochar under scrutiny, and a special CBI court has rejected a plea filed by Venugopal, Videocon Group Chairman Venugopal Dhoot, challenging his arrest by the CBI. Now, there is a background to this. We'll go across to Ashish Merishi to understand more. Ashish, if you can hear me, it had actually come from Chanda Kocher's point of view or from their lawyers that Venugopal Dhoot is equally complicit. And that's why Videocon should also be brought under scrutiny. The chairman Venugopal Dhoot was in connivance and he should be arrested too. And did the arrest then happen? And this challenge now being rejected by the special CBI court.
Anand, before we go into the merits and demerits on why the bail was rejected for Venugopal Dhoot, let's go into the background of the case. The background of the case is very clear that there are certain allegations which reveal that Videocon got loans from ICICI Bank, and in lieu of that, kickbacks were given to a company where 50% of the equity was being held by none other than the husband of Chanda Kocher, that was Deepak Kocher, and the company's name is NU Power. The amount that was received from this company, which was basically a subsidiary of Videocon. This was, they transferred around 64 crore rupees in lieu of a loan which was around 350 crore rupees. In totality, around 1875 crore rupees of loans were issued. But what was not declared by Chanda Kocher was the fact that, she was staying in a house which was owned by by Videocon. She was basically a director and a shareholder of a company where Videocon was substantial holder of equity. So there are certain facts which were not highlighted to the board of ICICI. And ultimately, you remember that, Deepak Kocher and Chanda Kocher were rejected. And now, subsequently, when Videocon chairman, Venugopal Dhoot was also summoned, he was also arrested. Now, they have been sent to judicial custody until the 10th.
Right.
The challenge in the court was basically, they said that the challenge in the court was that, he cooperated, and despite that, this, he has been arrested. But that merit did not fall in line with what the court thought, and that is why his bail stands rejected.
Right. Now we've got more information coming in that this does not stop here. As the investigating authorities are doing a deep dive into Videocon's affairs, startling details have now emerged, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll go across to that aspect where CNN News 18 has accessed the entire FIR in a second case against Venugopal Dhoot, which actually reveals a much bigger scam, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to spell out the details. Our investigations editor Manoj Gupta and Ashish Merishi both are contributing to this story. Let's try and understand why this scam could be much, much bigger. In fact, this scam could be nearly the total amount of about 14,185 crores. We were to look at the value of the rupee to the dollar at 51 rupees at that time. And that it does not stop only with ICICI Bank. Was a consortium of banks involved led by SBI. Were officials of the SBI during that period, along with other bank officials of various other banks, also involved in this entire scam? That's the bigger question. Let's try and get you the details. Now, what is under lens is in 2012, SBI-led consortium cleared a $2.7 billion credit to one of the subsidiaries of Videocon itself, VHHL. VHHL is a subsidiary of Videocon Industries Limited. VHHL gained credit to develop overseas oil and gas assets. VHHL gained additional credit of $1.1 billion via the consortium. The credit to VHHL included a $400 million extension from Standard Chartered Bank or SCB in London. Then, Videocon Industries Limited informed the consortium that the SCB loan or the loan from Standard Chartered Bank had increased to $530 million. So from $400 million to $530 million, an upward jump of $130 million. SBI-led consortium then paid $530 million loan to SCB London. So they offset that loan. They paid Standard Chartered Bank London $530 million. The $530 million loan was paid reportedly without any verification. The consortium of banks did not do a due diligence and a deep dive that how is it that their $400 million extension has gone up to $530 million. Towards what has this amount been paid for? No due diligence was done, but this money was paid off, was squared off. Then we are given to understand what the FIR actually says is that the consortium did not take control of Videocon Industries Limited's oil and gas assets. After you've paid off a particular loan, would you not hypothecate the property against which this loan has been taken? That was not done. That is exactly what the FIR says. The loan account between SCB London, that is Standard Chartered Bank London, and VHHL also was not closed. So despite paying off the loan account was not closed. The SBI-led consortium allowed the flow of loans from Standard Chartered Bank London. Assets of VIL were not placed or as collateral for hefty loans. The consortium officers conspired with Venugopal Dhoot. The racket caused a wrongful gain to Videocon Industries Limited, heavy loss to the consortium of banks, and that's public money. The amount is nearly $2,773 million or nearly 14,145 crores based on that the rate at that time, dollar to rupee rate of 51 at that time. Ashish Mehrishi with more. This is a big scam then, 14,000 crore scam, and that too orchestrated by Videocon Industries Limited. So Venugopal Dhoot now in the dock, not just for what happened with ICICI Bank, but this consortium was also used to siphon off funds.
So Anand, I remember this because this case has been in the public domain for quite some time. Though the CBI has registered this case recently about siphoning of around 14,000 crore rupees. Now these are basically oil and gas assets which were in Mozambique, which was taken over by ONGC Videsh Limited after the Videocon Industries faltered in paying back the loans. So the money came into the consortium, it came into the escrow amount, and it should have been distributed among the consortium of banks accordingly on the pro rata basis, but that never happened, and that is why the allegation is that the consortium officer connived with the owners of Videocon, that is the Dhoots, and ultimately that money was siphoned off. Around 14,000 crore rupees have been siphoned off. So money that was basically your money, my money, it's the public money, which was supposed to be basically repaid to the bank, that never happened, and the consortium chief was none other than the State Bank of India. So certainly it's not only the ICICI Bank. The exposure of the Videocon group was more than 50,000 crore rupees, and there have been various defaults by the Videocon group, and that is why we can say in days to come, Dhoot is going to be in further trouble.
Yeah, so in this case, if this consortium had to be led by a senior bank official, and there were multiple banks involved, so is the CBI now going to extend the scope of the investigation and also pull up those officials who were in charge at that time? Can they get away if they have demitted office, or are they still criminally culpable, Ashish?
So, obviously, once even if you have demitted the office, or if you have retired or whatever, if you have signed on the file, if you have not, paid heed to the red flags that were visible, those officers can certainly be brought to book. There is no doubt about it. So that can certainly happen in days to come.
And do we know that was VHHL and Venugopal Dhoot directly in connivance? Where did this money go? Were for more loans extended from the Standard Chartered Bank London?
Anand, I'm 100% sure because these documents were in my possession almost 3-4 years back about on how Videocon authorities connived with various bank officials and they cheated the banks by more than 14,000 crore rupees. Though the FIR has been registered now, but this has been in public domain, or you can say at least with the reporters and the agencies for quite some time. And whether it is Standard Chartered Bank, whether it is the bank based out of London, whether it is the State Bank of India, it looks to be that all these officers were involved, and they certainly helped and connived with Videocon authorities.
Well, thank you for your inputs, Ashish. So big development this, that Venugopal Dhoot in the dock, not for just the aljibaji with ICICI Bank, where his bail plea has now been rejected, but in a second case, an FIR filed which says that he has siphoned off public money worth nearly 14,000 crores, and that too with connivance with a consortium of banks led by State Bank of India. So will these sleuths get to the bottom of it? Will those officials be named? We'll have to wait and watch. Moving on to yet another shocker, ladies and gentlemen. Now, are passengers treating the Air India aircraft as a public urinal? That becomes a question, ladies and gentlemen, because there is a second case that's now come to the fore. A second case of a passenger urinating in an Air India aircraft, and this was in a Paris-Delhi flight, where the passenger urinated on a woman's blanket. The passenger was let off after an apology. So are there different strokes, different shades, and what is happening inside an Air India flight aircraft? The in-flight crew should also be under scrutiny. When did this incident happen? Ridhima is with us with more details. Yes,
So,
Ridhima.
Anand, as you rightly pointed out, another shocker that has come to light. We're already grappling around what has happened in the first case. This particular case, we're now understanding, happened on the 6th of December. It's only being reported now. As you rightly pointed out, it happened on a
nearly a
Paris.
month ago.
Yeah, nearly a month ago. So, it happened on a Paris to Delhi flight. And we're understanding this said male passenger urinated on a co-passenger, a woman's blanket. What we're also understanding, and this is absolutely baffling, that he was let off after an apology. So in the first case, also you've seen lapses and part of the airline and the crew because no action was taken. Similar pattern being seen in the second
also
case
happened in the
as
business
well.
class?
This happened in the business class.
So there are two cases in the business class where the crew have not been able to control the passenger, and the passenger misbehaves. In one case is let off after an apology. In the other case, the allegation on Air India is that they have gone too soft on this person.
Oh,
Whereas
absolutely.
while not cracking down on the crew itself, which is also supposed to be held guilty as to why they've served somebody so much of alcohol that person has no clue what is happening, and that they took time to report this matter.
Oh, absolutely. If you look at the complaint that we've accessed here on CNN News 18, look at the ordeal that she's narrated. She's an elderly woman in her 70s. She says, when this man exposed himself to me and urinated on me and I reached out to the crew first dismissed the case. And after that, the only option that was given by the crew to the woman was, we'll give you a set of pajamas and slippers, but you'll have to return to that soiled seat. So she says, I stood in the airplane for about 20 minutes, but was forced to go back to the soiled seat. After that, she also goes on to say, and we're talking about the first case, that the crew themselves had a little chat and they told the woman that, would you want to have a conversation with this said male passenger, and will it be okay if he apologizes? So the hint here is, did the airline actually try to dismiss the case in the first go? And look what happened on arrival also.
Even in the case, as the second case is concerned, the airline has done the same thing. They have let off this passenger with an apology. So somewhere the whole idea of the crew has been ki rafa dafa kar do, let's not catch up these unruly passengers who are traveling business class but they don't know how to hold their alcohol or they don't know how to behave in an aircraft.
And there are lapses on every part, lapses on part of the crew, because what are the protocols that a crew is supposed to follow? One, you're supposed to have sensitivity and empathy to the said passenger. That of course wasn't given. You should have given an alternative. You should have moved her to another seat. There are other passengers on the same flight saying there were available seats, but that wasn't given. And on arrival, you should have had the said passenger arrested. All of this should have been mentioned in a voice report. Why is that not being done? In the first case, the case happened on the 26th of November. There was a 48-hour delay just in filing the first complaint, and then the action has been taken on the 4th of January, which is just a 30-day ban. Here, what is the action? We still don't know because the details are still
6th of
sketchy.
December incident is coming to light
Today.
only now. So 1 month later, there you're saying there was a 2-day delay in just filing a report on it. The voiced information of what has happened was not provided. The passenger was not red flagged and not deplaned and not put in as a flight hazard, and no action was also taken. In both the cases, no action has been taken. Ridhima, thank you for your input. So clearly Air India has a few questions to answer, especially the officials and the crew which were there on that flight, including, of course, the captain and the pilot who's the commander of that aircraft. So a lot of those questions will have to be answered by Air India, and we'll see if those answers are forthcoming. Moving on to yet another cause for concern, ladies and gentlemen, here on The Nation at 5, we turn the spotlight towards Joshimath in Uttarakhand, where it's a shocking development that has spooked the entire region of Joshimath, because nearly 500 to 600 houses are suffering, are looking at the possibility of that entire region slipping down. And these houses have not only developed cracks, but there is also water coming through these cracks. Nearly 500 houses have developed deep cracks. What is even more worrying, that these cracks are seeing water seepage, water coming through from the ground. That's what the reports are suggesting. And right from houses to hospitals to hotels, any structure that's been constructed in this region of Joshimath, water is seeping out of the cracks. High tension lines have also been severely damaged in various districts. Hundreds of people have now been evacuated from their homes and are spending nights in extreme cold or in very, very temporary and perhaps not apt situations and conditions. There are also the Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami, who sought a report from the Chamoli DM on this entire matter. The government has formed a 14-member committee to assess the damages. There is a team of experts who has gone down on ground also. Have a look at some of the reports from ground, some reactions also that have come in.
लगातार जोशीमठ का जो सर्वेक्षण का कार्य है वो पिछले दिनों चला है और जो भी सर्वेक्षण की रिपोर्ट आई है उसके आधार पर हम आगे काम कर रहे हैं। अभी हमने इसके लिए एक समीक्षा बैठक भी कर ली है। आपदा प्रबंधन विभाग को पूरी तरह से अलर्ट कर दिया है, जिलाधिकारी को जो भी वहां पर जिस प्रकार के भी प्रबंध करने होंगे, विस्थापन की जो कार्रवाई करनी होगी, जो ट्रीटमेंट करना होगा, वो सभी कार्रवाई कर रहे हैं। जो भी जरूरी काम होगा जोशीमठ शहर को बचाने के लिए किया जाएगा, उसके ट्रीटमेंट के लिए किया जाएगा, लोगों के लिए किया जाएगा।
अन्य जगह से भी जैसे सूचना आई थी, जो मनोहर बाग क्षेत्र में ही जहाँ पे लोगों के घर में थोड़ी दरारें थी, उनका थोड़ा बहुत दरारें और बढ़ने की सूचना आई है। और इसी क्रम में हमने मनोहर बाग वार्ड में ही होटल माउंट व्यू के नीचे जो 5 परिवार रह रहे हैं, जहाँ पे काफ़ी दरार आई थी, उनको नगर पालिका के डॉर्मेट्री में शिफ्ट कर दिया है। 4 परिवार वहाँ रह रहे हैं, एक परिवार को खंड विकास के ऑफिस के पास में ही शिफ्ट किया गया है। तहसील के भवन में भी कुछ हल्की सी दरारें दिख रही हैं, तो इसको देख के तो थोड़ा सा लग रहा है कि ये दरार जो है, मतलब जो ये थोड़ा बहुत एरिया दायरा बढ़ते जा रहा है।
Journalist and also former media advisor to the former Uttarakhand Chief Minister Ramesh Bhatt is also joining us. But first I'll go across to Nitin Semwal of News18 Uttarakhand जो हमारे साथ जुड़ रहे हैं फ्रॉम ग्राउंड। नितिन, आप दो तीन दिन से इसको कवर कर रहे हैं, वहाँ काफ़ी ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम है और लोग दहशत में हैं। आपके साथ भी लोग खड़े हैं, उनसे ज़रा बात करके बताइए वहाँ ग्राउंड पर सिचुएशन क्या है।
जी, आपको सीधे जोशीमठ की तस्वीरें हम दिखा देते हैं अपने दर्शकों को। न्यूज़ 18 लगातार जिस तरीके से इस पूरी खबर पर शुरू से बना हुआ था, ये देखिए आप, जो ये आप लोगों को देख रहे हैं, ये लोग वो लोग हैं जो प्रभावित हैं। इस समय ये लोग घर छोड़ चुके हैं और सीधा इन्हीं लोगों से बात करेंगे कि क्यों इन्हें अपना घर छोड़ना पड़ा। जी, क्या ऐसी सिचुएशन आ गई कि आपको अपना घर छोड़ना पड़ा और कितने लोग प्रभावित हुए हैं?
भाई, जोशीमठ में जो है 60% जो है भूस्खलन तो हो ही गया है जी, या पर फिर भी लोग अपने घरों में रह रहे हैं। मगर हमारे जो है 7 परिवार जो है माउंट व्यू होटल और मिलानियन होटल के पीछे हैं। हम भी रह सकते हैं उनके अंदर, मगर उनके दहशत से नहीं रह पा रहे। हमने प्रशासन से कई बार ये बोल दिया भाई कि इन होटलों का मानकन जो है 3 मंजिल का है, ये 5 मंजिल बनी, इनको तुम 1-2 फ्लोर कम करो। मगर प्रशासन आ रहा है जा रहा है। एसडीएम साहब भी अपनी जो है छुट्टी चले गई है। यहाँ पर हम लोग किसके पास जाएंगे? प्रशासन, तहसीलदार साहब आ रहे हैं, यहाँ पे देख रहे हैं, सब चले जा रहे हैं।
अभी कितने लोग शिफ्ट हुए हैं यहाँ?
अभी तो हम लोग जो है 7 परिवार यहाँ पे शिफ्ट हुए हैं। जो इसके दहशत से हम लोग हैं, हमको तो जो है शिफ्ट होने की जरूरत भी नहीं थी, इतना डैमेज भी नहीं था, मगर हमको जो है ये 7 परिवार को यहाँ पे से इस होटल की मजबूरी से जाना पड़ा।
जिस तरीके से उत्तराखंड सरकार ने एक बड़ा फैसला लिया है, उन्होंने जल विद्युत परियोजना के निर्माण पर रोक लगा दी है। इसके अलावा जो हिलक मारवाड़ी बाईपास है उस पर रोक लगा दी है, नव निर्माण पर रोक लगा दी। तो किस तरीके से इस बड़े फैसले को देखते हैं आप?
अब देखो, ये तो शासन और प्रशासन देखे हैं, मगर अभी हमारे लिए जो है एक गुरुद्वारे में जो है जो 2-2 खटिया दिए गए, लेके गए हम लोग, और आपके जो है बिस्तर लेके गए। मगर हमारे खाना बनाने तो हम घर ही पे आ रहे हैं। अगर बाई चांस हम खाना बनाते भाई दिन में खाना बनाने नाश्ता करने तो हम घर ही में आ रहे हैं, वो टूटे फूटे घर ही में आ रहे हैं हम लोग। मगर इसी के दहशत से जो है हम 1-2 रोटी खाने के 1 ही रोटी खा पा रहे हैं, 1 रोटी आधा रोटी खा रहे हैं। जल्दीबाजी 6 बजने के बाद तो ऐसा लग रहा है यहाँ पर कब छोड़े ऐसे। अब सरकार से हमारा यही निवेदन है, प्रशासन से यही निवेदन है, होटल मांडवी और होटल मिलानियन को जो इसको तोड़ने की कष्ट करें, बाकी तभी जी सकते हैं, नहीं तो हम नहीं जी सकते। धन्यवाद।
जी, ये वो लोग हैं जिनका इस होटल के पीछे, हम आपको सीधा ये होटल एक दिखाएंगे। इस होटल को देखिए, इसके नीचे जो बस्ती है, ये बस्ती बहुत खतरनाक स्थिति में इस समय है। आप देखिए, इसके नीचे जितने भी घर है, इस होटल के टूटने का उनको डर है। अगर ये होटल टूट जाएगा तो ये सीधे लटक कर इन मकानों के ऊपर से चला जाएगा। लगभग 10 से 15 परिवार ये है। तो स्थिति जो सबसे खतरनाक है, हालांकि पूरे जोशीमठ की है, 4 वार्डों की स्थिति बहुत ज्यादा खतरनाक है। लेकिन ये जो इलाका आप देख रहे हैं, ये जो होटल आप देख रहे हैं, ये नेशनल हाईवे पे, तो कहीं ना कहीं जो खतरा अभी भी है वो बिल्कुल बरकरार है और लोगों में अभी भी बहुत ज्यादा डर दिखाई दे रहा है।
ये लैंडस्लाइड की वजह से ये खतरा पैदा हुआ है, या वहाँ कोई प्रोजेक्ट है जहाँ पर कुछ काम की वजह से लोग कह रहे हैं कि ये क्रैक्स, ये दरारें आ रही हैं घरों में? कोई तो वजह होगी जिसकी वजह से ये हो रहा है।
जी, आज 2 चीजें निकल कर आई हैं। एनटीपीसी जल विद्युत परियोजना के कार्यों पर जिस तरीके से रोक लगाया गया है और हिलंग मारवाड़ी बाईपास के कार्यों पर रोक लगाया गया है, इससे कहीं ना कहीं अब एक चीज निकलकर सामने आ रही है कि यही जो दो प्रोजेक्ट हैं, जो जल विद्युत परियोजना एनटीपीसी और हिलंग मारवाड़ी बाईपास, इसी से जोशीमठ में भूस्खलन हो सकता है, ये संभावना जताई गई है। अगर प्रशासन ने आज इस पर फैसला दिया है तो कहीं ना कहीं ये बड़ा फैसला है और लापरवाही हुई है। अब जिस तरीके से इन प्रोजेक्टों को बंद कर दिया गया है, चमोली के अपर जिला अधिकारी ने एक लेटर जारी कर जो प्रभावित लोग हैं उन्हें समझाया है कि ये हमने बंद कर लिया है और अब आगे इन पर कार्य नहीं किया जाएगा। इसके साथ ही अगर बात करें तो जो निर्माण कार्य जोशीमठ में चल रहे हैं उन पर भी रोक लगा दी गई है। तो कहीं ना कहीं उत्तराखंड सरकार ने एक बड़ा फैसला जरूर लिया है, लेकिन इस फैसले में कितना दम है वो आने वाले समय बताएगा। जी
देखिए, ये दरारें बहुत बड़ी है। नितिन, आप मेरे साथ बने रहे। आई एम जस्ट गो अक्रॉस टू रमेश भट्ट एंड ऑल्सो आस्क हिम। रमेश, आप you've also been tweeting about it quite often, regularly you've been putting out reports. आप क्या कहते हैं, what is the reason this has happened? Is this bad weather, landslides की वजह से ये इस तरह का सिचुएशन आया है? और ये सारे जितने घर हैं, जितनी दरारें हैं, ये तो अब बियॉन्ड रिपेयर हैं।
आपने बिल्कुल ठीक कहा, ये बियॉन्ड रिपेयर हैं और इसके मल्टीपल रीजन बताए जा रहे हैं। देखिए, आज जो ये फैसला वहां के स्थानीय प्रशासन ने लिया है, ये जब सिचुएशन हाथ से निकलती जा रही थी और लोगों ने आज वहां पर चक्का जाम कर दिया था, कल शाम वहां पर लोगों ने बड़े पैमाने पर मसाल जुलूस निकाला था, उसके बाद प्रशासन को ये लग गया कि अब सिचुएशन हैंडल करना बहुत मुश्किल है, इसलिए जो लोगों की नाराजगी है वहां पर जो एनटीपीसी तपोवन विष्णुघाट जल विद्युत परियोजना 520 मेगावाट की है, उसकी जो सुरंग का निर्माण हो रहा है और जो नीचे मारवाड़ी वाले इलाके में जो बाईपास बन रहा है उस पर तत्काल प्रभाव से रोक लगाई जाए। लेकिन सबसे बड़ा सवाल जो मैं यहाँ पर रखना चाहता हूँ वो ये है कि एक शहर की एक कैरिंग कैपेसिटी होती है। अगर उस कैरिंग कैपेसिटी से आप ज्यादा निर्माण कर रहे हैं और वैसे भी ये जो पूरा इलाका है वो सिस्मिक जोन 5 में आता है, कौन इनको निर्माण करने दे रहा है? वहां पर क्यों नहीं कोई चेक होता है? और जो सरकार की रिपोर्ट जो जिस ओर इशारा कर रही थी, जो अक्टूबर में आ गई थी, मैं आपको बताऊं, उसमें कहा गया था कि साहब वहां पर ड्रेनेज सिस्टम नहीं है, पानी की निकासी की व्यवस्था नहीं है, ये एक बड़ी वजह है। ये सारे मल्टीपल फैक्टर जो है और खासकर नीचे से अलकनंदा जो भू कटाव कर रही है, तो ये मल्टीपल फैक्टर को बताया जा रहा है कि वहां पर जो बड़े बड़े क्रैक्स आ रहे हैं। लेकिन जो आपने कहा ये बात सही है कि ये क्रैक्स बियॉन्ड रिपेयर है। जाहिर है इस समय सरकार के लिए बहुत जरूरी है वहां पर प्रभावित लोगों को इवैक्यूएट किया जाए, सेफ जगह पर उनको लेके जाया जाए। मैं अभी आपको एक लेटेस्ट इंफॉर्मेशन देता हूं कि अभी मैं रिसेंटली एक सरकार की चिट्ठी देख रहा था जिसमें एनटीपीसी से 2000 पी फैब्रिकेटेड भवनों की बात कही गई थी कि एनटीपीसी उन्हें मुहैया वहां पर करा दे ताकि लोगों को पहले सेफ जगह पर शिफ्ट कर दिया जाए। एक और बात जो बहुत जरूरी मुझे लगती है कि राज्य सरकार की कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग इतनी नहीं है कि इतनी बड़ी जो आपदा के मुहाने में जोशीमठ खड़ा है उससे निपट सके। जाहिर है उन्हें केंद्र सरकार से मदद लेनी चाहिए, गृह मंत्रालय से मदद लेनी चाहिए, नेशनल डिजास्टर रिस्पांस फोर्स से मदद लेनी चाहिए और जितने भी एक्सपर्ट हैं जो इससे जुड़े हैं उनसे मदद लेनी चाहिए ताकि आप एक कंक्लूजन में पहुंचे कि भैया आखिर हो क्यों रहा है।
बिल्कुल। और इसमें रमेश जी एक बात यह है कि पानी जितना अगर जीवन दान देता है तो जीवन लेता भी है, और पानी जितना नुकसान एक कंस्ट्रक्शन को और सीपेज कर सकता है उससे ज़्यादा और कुछ भी नुकसान नहीं कर सकता। एंड एवरी आवर ऑफ सीपेज, एवरी आवर ऑफ वाटर फ्लोइंग एंड कमिंग थ्रू इज ओनली गोइंग टू एक्सपोनेंशियली इंक्रीज द डेंजर ऑफ an entire shift and entire part of Joshimath sliding through, and you can imagine the amount of damage that can cause to life and also of course property. I'm just going to ask Nitin quickly. Nitin, एक बात बताएं, क्या ये जो क्रैक्स निकली हैं ये क्रैक्स चौड़ी होती जा रही हैं? क्या पानी का बहाव इनमें से जो है वो कम हुआ है?
जी निश्चित रूप से जो दरारें जो पहले पड़ी थी उनका अब जो आकार है वो बढ़ता चला जा रहा है, यानी कि 3 से 4 फीट, 5 फीट और 6 फीट तक की दरार अलग अलग जगहों पर है। जो पानी निकल रहा है वो जल विद्युत परियोजना एक और है यहाँ पे 420 मेगावाट की जय प्रकाश कंपनी, उसके कॉलोनी में निकल रहा है और वहाँ पर अभी भी पानी निकल रहा है। सबसे बड़ी समस्या अब यही है कि जब पहले दरार पड़ रही थी लेकिन अब उन दरारों से जो पानी निकल रहा है वो कहीं ना कहीं एक खतरे की घंटी है, और अगर इसी तरीके से पानी निकलता रहा तो आने वाले समय में जोशीमठ में एक बड़ा हादसा भी हो सकता है। जी
Our research team has just given us some more inputs that large chunks of the Joshimath were are located at a 6,000 feet height in Uttarakhand and considered to be of strategic importance because of its proximity to the Indo-China border and for being the gateway to Badrinath, the Sikh shrine Hemkund Sahib, and also skiing destination Auli and UNESCO World Heritage Site Valley of Flowers. Is it slowly sinking is a question, and there is a multi-institutional team constituted to undertake geological and geotechnical investigation around this entire town in Chamoli, that because it is built on an unstable foundation. A thick cover of landslide material which can give way in case of heavy rain, tremors, unregulated construction or more footfall than the town's carrying capacity. This threat looms, and this is something which has been spoken about since September 2022, and this is a problem. This has been accruing over the years. Final comment, Ramesh, that ये सालाना होते जा रहा है कि अक्टूबर 2021 में भी जब बारिश हुई थी, लैंडस्लाइड हुआ था, उसकी वजह से भी जमीन दरकने के इंस्टेंसेस हुए थे. तो क्या ये पूरा जोशीमठ का इलाका ही बहुत ज्यादा हाईली क्या कहते हैं अनस्टेबल सॉइल और फाउंडेशन पर है?
बिल्कुल, और भूवैज्ञानिक ये बार-बार कह चुके हैं. जो आप कह रहे हैं कि 2022 सितंबर में एक रिपोर्ट आई थी जो सरकार ने कमेटी फॉर्म की थी, उसने तो खैर ड्रेनेज और पानी निकासी को एक बड़ा मुद्दा बनाया था. लेकिन आपको याद होगा 7 फरवरी 2021 को रैनी में एक आपदा आई थी, उसमें भी कई सौ लोग मारे गए थे. केवल मैं आपको बताऊं, केवल जोशीमठ ही नहीं, उत्तराखंड के पहाड़ के कई इलाके हैं जहां पर क्रैक्स देखने को मिल रहे हैं. अगर आप नैनीताल के कुछ इलाकों में भी देखेंगे, वहां भी, मसूरी में भी देखेंगे, क्रैक्स तो नहीं है लेकिन वो अपनी कैरिंग कैपेसिटी से ऊपर जा चुका है. देखिए, ये एक चैलेंजिंग सिचुएशन है गवर्नमेंट के सामने, और गवर्नमेंट को इसको बहुत, ये एक असाधारण स्थिति है और मैं कहूंगा गवर्नमेंट को असाधारण रिस्पांस देने की जरूरत है. वो इसलिए क्योंकि जैसे जैसे आपके शहरों में दबाव बढ़ेगा, आपका कोई कंस्ट्रक्शन में चेक नहीं है, आपका कोई फुटफॉल पे चेक नहीं है, आपका एक जो धर्म संकट है सरकार के सामने, क्योंकि उत्तराखंड की इकोनॉमी अगर आने वाले समय में देखी जाए तो उसके लिए एक बहुत बड़ा फैक्टर था ये जो हाइड्रो पावर प्रोजेक्ट्स थे. ऑलमोस्ट हमारी जो मैं कहूंगा पोटेंशियल था वो 20,000
देखिए, हाइड्रो पावर प्रोजेक्ट में भी आपको फिजिबिलिटी स्टडी करने की जरूरत है. किस तरह से आप ब्लास्ट करते हैं, क्या उससे आसपास का इकोलॉजिकल इंपैक्ट क्या होगा, और नेचुरल जो इंपैक्ट है, फोर्स मेजोर जिसे कहा जाता है, अगर कैलामिटी हुई है, बारिश हुई है, जमीन दरकी है, वहाँ लैंडस्लाइड्स हुए हैं, यू हैव टू फैक्टर इन ऑल ऑफ दैट in terms of what is the quality geologically, in terms of what is the impact and how robust is that entire area. ये सब तो जरूरी है because this is a calamity waiting to happen the way things are looking in Joshimath at this point. And clearly, जैसा आप कह रहे हैं and locals are saying, immediate action needs to be taken, immediate cognizance need to be taken. Every wasted hour is actually building up to a possible loss of lives and property in huge numbers, the way we are looking at things in Joshimath. Ramesh Bhatt, Nitin Simwal, thank you for your inputs. We're going to take a very short break here on The Nation at 5. We turn the spotlight towards the Kanjhawala case, Kanjhawala case, and also the latest developments thereof. Stay with us.
The officer and called her feat as breaking the glass ceiling. Just days after the residents of Himachal Pradesh rang in the new year, a new winter carnival is being celebrated in the state. As part of the carnival celebrations, Kulbi folk dance was organized at the Mall Road in Shimla. Several women belonging to the Kulbi community participated in the dance, along with tourists who were visiting the city. The Portland Korean church in Oregon was engulfed in flames. No injuries or casualties have been reported so far.
Massive fire broke out at the Portland Korean church in Oregon. The incident took place on Tuesday evening. Flames at one point were seen billowing from the church's steeple and eaves. Portland Fire Department said that the flames also spread to a nearby home. It's still unclear how extensive the damage is. The church has been the scene of several large fires in recent years. The building was already deemed unsafe for entry. Officials say that the church was unoccupied at the time the fire broke out. No injuries or casualties have been reported.
Anti-Pakistan protests were held in Poonch district of Jammu and Kashmir. The stir was staged after the twin terror attacks in Rajouri, which killed 6 people. The protesters demanded an increase in security in the valley and also especially around the places where Kashmiri pundits are currently residing. Meanwhile, 18 additional CRPF troops have been deployed in Rajouri and Poonch. In an attempt to try and encourage fish farming in the state, the Manipur government has organized a fish fair in Imphal East. The event will have over 90 different stalls focusing on multiple varieties of fish and fish products. The state government has also made a special focus to make Manipur a self-sustainable state in fish production. 4 people were miraculously rescued after a car fell into a gorge in California.
A frightening incident has come to the fore from California. The Tesla plummeted into a 250 deep gorge from the highway and crashed into a rocky outcropping. 4 people were traveling in the Tesla when it fell into a deep gorge. The eyewitnesses called 911 around 10:15 a.m. and the crews set up a rope system from the highway to lower firefighters down the cliff. The rescue operation took several hours amid constant rain, heavy winds, slick roads, and crashing waves. A rescue operation was launched to save the family, but looking at the condition of the car, it became difficult to believe if there were any survivors. But all 4 were conscious and alert when rescuers arrived. All the survivors suffered musculoskeletal injuries, and 2 adults were airlifted to the hospital.
Sharing a picture of his bruised face on Instagram, Hollywood actor Jeremy Renner thanked his fans from his hospital bed as he continues to recover from 2 surgeries. The Hawkeye actor was critical after he got injured after clearing snow from his driveway very close to his home on New Year's Day. And star footballer Cristiano Ronaldo has joined the Saudi Arabian club Al Nassr. The 37-year-old signed a 2.5-year deal with the club for a reported sum of 200 million euros. Ronaldo is most likely to make his debut for Al Nassr on the 5th of January. His contract at Manchester United was terminated mid-season after his explosive interview with Piers Morgan. Now, the car collision has come to light from Delhi's Dwarka area, where a car reportedly rammed into another vehicle at a red light. A case has been registered against the car owner, who also happens to be an assistant sub-inspector of the Delhi police. 6 vehicles, including a PCR van, were damaged during the accident. Further investigation is underway. 5 guards were injured after a brawl broke out in Shah Jahan Road in Delhi.
A major scuffle broke out between guards and vendors at Delhi's Shah Jahan Road. 5 security guards were reportedly injured after the incident. The visuals of the clash went viral on social media. The fight broke out after the private security guards didn't allow them to sell eatables, as the India Gate stretch is a no-vending zone. Later, an NDMC truck started loading the materials. The agitated vendors began pelting construction materials and sticks at the guards and refused to remove their kiosks. Delhi police has now registered a case and an investigation is currently underway.
In a shocking incident, a drunk man urinated on a female passenger in the business class of a New York-Delhi Air India flight on the 26th of November. Air India has filed a police complaint. They've constituted an internal committee to investigate the matter. The said passenger has now been banned from flying with Air India for 30 days or till the decision of the internal committee. The Jain community staged a nationwide protest after the Hemant Soren-led government decided to turn 2 holy sites, the Parasnath Parvat and the Tirthraj Samed Shikharji, into an ecotourism spot. The Samed Shikharji is one of the biggest pilgrimage destinations for the Jain community. Meanwhile, sources have told CNN News18 that the central government will soon address this issue. The Madhya Pradesh police have raised a hotel of suspended BJP leader Mishri Chand Gupta in Sagar, who's also accused of murder.
Welcome back. The call for justice for Anjali is only growing, and the chorus for trying the accused for murder and adding the charges of Section 302 to the FIR is also only growing louder, with Anjali's family actually protesting right outside the Sultanpuri police station earlier in the day. Meanwhile, the Special CP Delhi Sagarpreet Hooda said that it's a legal aspect. They cannot add it because prima facie they don't have the evidence to add murder charges, but it's a legal aspect, and the courts have then to direct whether or not they deem that the accused, now the accused number is now 7 and not 5, should they all be charged with under charges of murder. Now, speaking exclusively to News18, Nidhi's mother has also in the meantime said that the 5 accused tried to even hit Nidhi with the car. She has also rubbished the allegations made by Anjali's family while trying to defend her daughter and her version of what happened. The Delhi police considers Nidhi to be a key eyewitness, although they believe that her mental makeup, her psychological well-being also needs to be tested and checked. The Delhi police has also disclosed some very, very sensational details, even as a new CCTV video has emerged in the Delhi hit and drag case. This CCTV video points to the grey Baleno being parked in in Sector 1 in Rohini, and the car being keys being handed to the owner of this car, Ashutosh, who's now been made one of the accused. He's absconding, he's not been seen. But in the CCTV, clearly 4 or 5 people are seen. There are 4 people seen stepping out of the car, and all of them, in fact, they took an auto from nearby and fled the scene. They actually confessed to Ashutosh that they have hit somebody, there's been an accident, they were drunk. Now, meanwhile, according to the police, 2 more people have been identified. Ashutosh, the owner of the car, and Ankush are all involved, and they've been added to the accused list. So there are 7 accused now. The 5 main accused were produced in Rohini court, and their police custody has been extended by 4 more days. Anjali's family and neighbors, like I said, are still demanding that Section 304 be added to the FIR. Let's listen into the reactions.
हमारी 18 टीम्स इसमें काम कर रही हैं और मल्टीपल जो टीम्स हैं वो सभी पहलुओं पर काम कर रही हैं। 5 एक्यूज्ड हमारी कस्टडी में हैं, उनका कस्टडी के दौरान इंटरोगेशन हो रहा है सीसीटीवी फुटेज के आधार पर, और जो सीडीआर के आधार पर हमें ये पता लगा है कि इसमें 2 लोग और इन्वॉल्व थे, और उनके लिए पुलिस अभी रेड कर रही है, इन्वेस्टिगेशन अभी जारी है। सस्टेन्ड इंटरोगेशन के आधार पे ये पता लगा है हमें कि जो दीपक था वो उसने अपने आप को ड्राइवर बताया था, लेकिन इंटरोगेशन के दौरान हमें पता लगा है कि एक्चुअली जो गाड़ी थी वो अमित ड्राइव कर रहा था, और ये इसके हमारे पास साइंटिफिक एविडेंस हैं।
3 बजे आई थी साहब जी।
3 बजे रात में?
हाँ जी।
हाँ।
घबरा रही थी बहुत तगड़ी, मम्मी मेरी साथ एक्सीडेंट हो गया बहुत तगड़ा।
हाँ।
मेरे को भी मार रहे थे वो लोग। बस यही बात हुई थी साहब जी मेरे से। तो मेरे को नहीं पता वो आदमी कौन थे कौन नहीं थे, ना मैं उनके साथ थी। मैं
निधि ने अंजलि के बारे में आपको बताया?
हाँ, मैं तो उस लड़की को जानती भी नहीं हूँ साहब जी, कोई पता नहीं आता नहीं मेरे को। तो मैं तो पढ़ी लिखी नहीं, फोन भी कभी पूछ लो मैं रखती नहीं फोन, तो मेरे को चलाना ही नहीं आता साहब जी।
निधि ने घटना वाली रात के बारे में आपको बताया क्या? कैसे एक्सीडेंट हुआ, कैसे मारा?
तो वो उसको भी घेर लिया था स्कूटर पे से, उस पे से ये मोटर स्कूटरी पे, उस पे से भी घेर लिया था उनने। तो घेर के फिर उसको भी मार रहे थे वो लड़के, उस पे भी गाड़ी चला रहे थे।
निधि ने उस रात आपको अंजलि के बारे में बताया था?
बताया था।
आगे पीछे करके मारा उसको?
हाँ, फिर इस पे भी गाड़ी चला रहे थे वो साहब जी, इस पे भी गाड़ी चला रहे थे वो, ऐसा उस पे भी कति गाड़ी चला रहे थे। ये उठ के डरती और घबरा के भाग गई। हाँ जी।
तो जो आरोप लग रहे हैं निधि पे, क्या कहिएगा?
निधि पे बस
अंजलि के परिवार वाले लगा रहे हैं कि वो झूठ
बोल रही है। वो तो परिवार तो झूठ बोल रहा है साहब जी, मैं तो देख रहा के कहूंगी।
आप कह रहे हैं कि अंजलि का परिवार झूठ बोल रहा है, जो निधि पे आरोप लगा रहे हैं झूठ बोल
रहे हैं। वो तो एक्सीडेंट होया साहब जी, उस पे भी गाड़ी चढ़ा रहे थे वो लड़के। ये आ रही थी एकदम, ये कूद के गिर गई नीचे गिर के, इस पे भी नू चढ़ा रहे थे गाड़ी।
Even as the family of the deceased are demanding that the murderers or these brutes be charged under murder, the cops are saying there is no evidence of a motive, and that's why the charges are under 304 and not 302. Let's go across to our reporter Siddhant joining us live from right outside Nidhi's residence. But first to Ananya and Shireen joining us live from Rohini court. Clearly 4 more days of custody extended, but did the cops also say that the accused are actually trying to confuse? They are inconsistent with their versions. And did the cops tell the court that the person who was driving, Amit, actually did not have a license? And that's why they came out and made a false claim that another of the person who was actually sitting in the front on the passenger seat, he was the one driving the car. Ananya.
Well, definitely, Anand, you know, a lot of claims were made by the police, a lot of submissions were made by the police before, in fact, the Rohini court, where these accused persons were produced via video conferencing. Number one, that there are two more accused persons into this case. It was clearly informed to the court on record. Secondly, that Deepak was actually taken into picture because the person who was driving that particular car did not have a license, and that's why it was initially said by the accused person that Deepak was driving that particular car. Another very sensational claim that was made by the police was that these accused are trying to confuse the police, and that's the reason why, in fact, 5 more days of custody remand is required. Now, what would the police be doing in this 4 days of police custody remand is they would be tracing down the routes of all of these accused persons, and would also be taking might take them for a crime scene recreation, and they would see, in fact, in the 3 days of police custody remand initially that they had got, they had recovered a lot of CCTV footages, including that of a petrol pump from where the car got fuel, and another CCTV footage which is with regards to the restaurant where these accused persons actually had food. Is what the police had told the court, and now 4 more days of police custody remand is granted. Now, Anand, Sherin is also with me. She was out there. What kind of a security arrangement, Sherin, was there on ground when these accused persons were
Ananya, you also need to ask Sherin, is the Sultanpuri police station...
There was, in fact, a lot of, a speculation that there could, in fact, be untoward incident that could happen, because there was a lot of lawyers and bystanders who are gathered outside the courtroom, and that is why probably once again there was, in fact, a video conferencing. But this time, unlike last time, all the accused were in fact produced. They were in fact inside the local lockup in about from the gate number 6, and then the video conferencing happened from the lockup. So and we have seen how both the roads have in fact been completely blocked because there was a lot of gathering here of the lawyers and bystanders, and there could in fact be violence that could have taken place, and that is why in order to avoid any untoward incident, there was in fact the security that was beefed up, and then when the accused were taken out as well, all the lawyers were also asked to leave this particular space. So that was the kind of security that was in place.
See,
but now with
one aspect that stands out, Sherin and Ananya, as I pull away from you and I go across to Siddhant, is the fact that these brutes called up Ashutosh ahead and told him that there has been an accident and we've hit somebody and we were in a drunk state, but we need to drop the car and we need to rush, we need to run away. They ran away from the scene. Now, does that not make them culpable? Meanwhile, Siddhant, this Nidhi, there are many who are saying that she should also be charged under 304 and made a co-accused. Although the cops believe she's an eyewitness because she's the one who's lending credence. But was she actually there? Anjali's family is even questioning her own presence. So are they going to verify the call data records? And did Anjali lie when she said कि मेरा phone टूट गया? Because she went to her neighbor and asked for a C-type charger to charge her phone.
जी बिल्कुल आनंद actually these questions go out to Delhi police because their star witness in the case is now being questioned because there have been multiple discrepancies in the statement that she has given in media, and going by police's version, the same statement she has given to police. Now Anjali's family has to say that if police is building the entire case on Nidhi's statement, and if there are discrepancy, then how can we trust police's investigation, which is again valid? Second, and the most important point, Anand, here is that Nidhi is not Nidhi. Now it has become a fight between the two families, Nidhi's family and Anjali's family. So the allegations and counter allegations are coming from both the sides.
Families may be wanting to shirk blame or pin the blame. Siddhant, I'm pulling away from you, but let's not forget the brutes. The brutes in the car are the ones who should be tried, and there should be a strong case made to charge them with murder because they dragged a person for 12 kilometers. They also went forward and reversed the car, knowing fully well that somebody was stuck and was shouting and screaming for help when they banged into that scooty. Moving away, big news coming in from Bengal on the Vande Bharat stone pelting incident. We are now given to understand that three juveniles are currently in custody, and they have been taken into custody with respect to vandalism on the Vande Bharat trains, and they have now been sent to a juvenile court. Kamalika now joins us with more details. Kamalika, which incident is this, the Malda one or the New Jalpaiguri one?
See, this is the second one, the Kishanganj. As the railways pointed out in the morning, that this incident, the 3rd January incident which took place exactly in Kishanganj area of Bihar, where 4 people were seen in this CCTV camera, in this body embedded camera of Vande Bharat, and police and RPF and GRP, they were together doing this investigation, where they saw that 4 people were there and they were preparing to pelt stones. So taking lead from this video, this investigation started, and now what we are coming to know, and the statement which has been given by Kishanganj police, is that 3 juveniles have been sent to court. So these were they were 14 years of old, though there were 4 persons, but till now 3 juveniles have been sent to court. That's what we are getting it from the Kishanganj police.
Well, thank you for your inputs, Kamalika. More news coming through. Certainly the news flow here into the newsroom has just picked up speed, and it's all happening here on the Nation at 5. After this entire double urination horror on the Air India aircrafts and flights, the DGCA has now sent a show cause notice to Air India. So will there be strict action against the crew, the pilot of these 2 aircrafts? The incidents is happening in November and in December. The DGCA taking cognizance, and will there be further action? We will try and go across to try and get to get more details, but clearly the DGCA now issuing a show cause notice. I'm going to check if the show cause notice is open here on our news desk. Just quickly open the news desk, and this is a press note that's been issued, that's been released. The incident on Air India flight AI 102 from New York to New Delhi dated 26/11/2022. The incident of passenger misbehavior that occurred on AI 102 flight 26/11/2022 came to the notice of the DGCA on the 4th of January, wherein a male passenger conducted himself in a disorderly manner and allegedly relieved himself on a passenger. For fact-finding, DGCA sought details of the incident from Air India, and on the basis of the airline, prima facie it emerges that provisions related to handling of an unruly passenger on board have not been complied with. That's what they're saying. The conduct of the concerned airline appears to be unprofessional and had led to a systemic failure. Prima facie, it looks like a lack of appreciation in regulatory obligations as described. Ridhima is with us. Ridhima, I'm just going to ask you to quickly get the mic and then also tell us that Air India really now finds itself in the dock, especially with this paragraph, where they are saying you have not conducted yourself as you should as an airline.
Oh, absolutely. This is mincing no words as far as the DGCA is concerned. Just look at the finer print. It says that whatever protocols that have been given that need to be followed for the handling of an unruly passenger,
of the airline,
that hasn't been complied with. 2, the conduct of the airline itself seems to be unprofessional, and that has led to a systematic failure. So the onus is on the crew and the airline as well.
So notices issued to the accountable manager of Air India, director in flight service of Air India, and all the pilots and cabin crew members of that flight as to why enforcement action should not be taken against them for dereliction of their regulatory obligations. However, to meet the ends of justice, they've been given 2 weeks' time to submit their reply to the DGCA. Based on that, further action will be taken. But this is only for 26 November. What happened on the 6th of December? Will there be another show cause notice? We'll have to wait and watch on that. Thank you, Ridhima, for your inputs. We're going to take a quick break here on The Nation at 5. Stay with us.
Ronaldo has joined the Saudi Arabian club Al Nassr. The 37-year-old signed a 2.5-year deal with the club for a reported sum of 200 million euros. Ronaldo is most likely to make his debut for Al Nassr on the 5th of January. His contract at Manchester United was terminated mid-season after his explosive interview with Piers Morgan. Now, the car collision has come to light from Delhi's Dwarka area, where a car reportedly rammed into another vehicle at a red light. A case has been registered against the car owner, who also happens to be an assistant sub-inspector of the Delhi police. 6 vehicles, including a PCR van, were damaged during the accident. Further investigation is underway. 5 guards were injured after a brawl broke out in Shah Jahan Road in Delhi.
A major scuffle broke out between guards and vendors at Delhi's Shah Jahan Road. 5 security guards were reportedly injured after the incident. The visuals of the clash went viral on social media. The fight broke out after the private security guards didn't allow them to sell eatables, as the India Gate stretch is a no-vending zone. Later, an NDMC truck started loading the materials. The agitated vendors began pelting construction materials and sticks at the guards and refused to remove their kiosks. Delhi police has now registered a case and an investigation is currently underway.
In a shocking incident, a drunk man urinated on a female passenger in the business class of a New York-Delhi Air India flight on the 26th of November. Air India has filed a police complaint. They've constituted an internal committee to investigate the matter. The said passenger has now been banned from flying with Air India for 30 days or till the decision of the internal committee. The Jain community staged a nationwide protest after the Hemant Soren-led government decided to turn two holy sites, the Parasnath Parvat and the Tirthraj Samed Shikharji, into an eco-tourism spot. The Samed Shikharji is one of the biggest pilgrimage destinations for the Jain community. Meanwhile, sources have told CNN News18 that the central government will soon address this issue. The Madhya Pradesh police have razed a hotel of suspended BJP leader Mishri Chand Gupta in Sagar, who's also accused of murder.
A five-story hotel which belonged to suspended BJP leader Mishri Chand Gupta was razed by Sagar district administration. A special team from Indore blasted 60 dynamites to demolish the hotel after 12 hours of hard work. The building turned into rubble within seconds. About 80 kilograms of gunpowder and 85 gelatin rods were used to demolish the building. The district administration said permission was taken for a two-story shopping complex, but a five-story hotel was built and was being operated. The move came after a public outrage over Jagdish Yadav murder case. Jagdish Yadav was allegedly crushed to death by an SUV on December 22. His family members accused Mishri Chand Gupta for murdering Yadav.
In a heroic move, a head constable in Bengaluru climbed 30 feet to rescue a crow that was stuck on a hoarding frame. Apparently, the crow got trapped in a manja mid-air. In fact, the rescue video not only turned Suresh into a social media hero, but he also earned appreciation from several quarters, including from Karnataka Home Minister Aragagyanendra. A man's quick thinking saved a woman's life in Pratapgarh.
A major tragedy was averted in Uttar Pradesh's Pratapgarh. A woman was trying to overtake a truck in a market area, but lost her balance and was about to collide with a truck. A man who was standing by quickly reacted and pulled her out of the clutches of death. The woman suffered some minor injuries. The whole incident was captured on CCTV camera and the video is now viral on social media. Netizens are praising the man for his quick thinking and saving the life of this woman.
A shocking accident was recorded on CCTV in Bagha district in Bihar.
A hair-raising accident from Bihar was recorded on camera. The incident is from Bagha district in Bihar. A man was trying to cross the road while speaking on phone with someone, but he was not aware that a car was also speeding towards him at this moment. The car later hits the man, who fell about 15 meters away from the spot. Whole incident was recorded on a CCTV camera. The man was later rushed to the hospital, where he is in critical condition.
An Indian origin kabaddi coach was shot dead in the Philippines' capital Manila. The incident occurred when an unidentified assailant barged into his home. 43-year-old Gurpreet had gone to Philippines around 4 years back to earn his livelihood. Following the reports, the victim's family from Punjab has now demanded the government to bring back his mortal remains. Uttar Pradesh is all set to get its second elephant reserve, considering the increasing number of elephants over the last few years. The new reserve will be India's
Back on the Nation at 5 with a big development. We told you here at CNN News 18, within 72 hours, Government of India will move in on the entire aspect of the Samed Shikharji. And now there is a notification that's come, since it's a central government notification. Maria Shakil and Arun Dhanta sharing this information that the government has put a hold on all tourism, ecotourism in that Samed Shikharji region. A committee has been formed. Parasnath मामले में केंद्र ने एक समिति बनाई है. They've made a thing and they've also asked the state government to add 2 members of the Jain community in the Parasnath case. As far as the 2019 notification is concerned, it's been put on hold. Jharkhand Sarkar Tatkal Avashyak Kadam Uthaye is the notification or the instruction that's now gone from the center, saying put all ecotourism, tourism initiatives at Samed Shikharji on hold, and then there will be a separate committee to monitor the other cases which the Jain community had raised in some of the other states of Bharat. So that's what it said. स्थानीय जनजातीय समुदाय से एक सदस्य शामिल करें. So a local person from the Janajatiya Samiti, 2 members of the Jain community, they will all be part of this committee which will have a conversation and discussion on the same. So that's the update on the Sameet Shikharji. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of The Nation at 5. Zaka is ready with Viewpoint.
It's going to be 4 days now since the shocking Anjali hit and drag case in the national capital. Today, the Delhi police had a detailed press conference in which they added a new twist, that there are 2 more accused for whom there is now a lookout. This is in addition to the 5 who are already under arrest. The police have revealed the names of these 2, but not much else. It is also shocking how such a high-profile crime happened right under the nose of the Delhi police, and today, 4 days on, they are still piecing together who all were involved. But first, the story so far.
Justice for Anjali. The chorus is getting louder and louder. People were out on streets on a cold Thursday morning in the national capital. Anjali's family members and neighbors took out a protest march and demanded strict action against all the accused.
They are also saying that this girl Nidhi, who is believed to be the friend of Anjali, should be tried under the law as well, because as far as her statement is concerned, so she is somewhere misleading the investigation.
सर, अगर ये हादसा होता तो गाड़ी है, गाड़ी के नीचे कुछ भी आता है, अगर एक अद्दा आ जाता है तो उसमें भी पता लगता है कि गाड़ी के नीचे कुछ आया है, तो इंसान हादसे के मुताबिक देखना चाहिए ना उतर के. देखो, हम अंजलि की दोस्त को नहीं जानते थे. हमारी बेटी हमारे घर से अकेली आती थी और अकेली जाती थी. निधि से क्या लिंक है हम उसके बारे में नहीं जानते बिल्कुल भी.
Even Nidhi's mother today came out and defended her daughter. She revealed that Nidhi got scared after they met with the accident. Nidhi's mother went on to allege that the accused even tried to run the car over her.
3 बजे आई थी साहब जी.
3 बजे रात में?
हाँ जी. घबरा रही थी बहुत तगड़ी. मम्मी मेरे साथ एक्सीडेंट हो गया बहुत तगड़ा. मेरे को भी मार रहे थे वो लोग. बस यही बात हुई थी साहब जी.
On the other hand, there has been some shocking revelations that have been made in the case. The Delhi police today conducted a press briefing and revealed that there are total 7 accused in the case and 2 of them are still missing.
सीसीटीवी फुटेज के आधार पर और जो सीडीआर के आधार पर हमें ये पता लगा है कि इसमें 2 लोग और इन्वॉल्व थे और उनके लिए पुलिस अभी रेड कर रही है. इन्वेस्टिगेशन अभी जारी है.
Meanwhile, a new CCTV footage has also emerged. 5 accused in the case can be seen abandoning their vehicle in a parking lot and fleeing in an auto after the accident. One of the accused got out of the vehicle and looked down to check under the car on the left side. This coincides with the forensic report which confirmed that Anjali's body was stuck on the left front wheel of the car. If we look at all the evidences which have been found until now and the adding up of 2 more accused in the case, a question clearly arises here. Is it still not a case of murder?
All right, before we go to our guests, I want to bring you up to speed with this latest CCTV footage that's come out. This is again moments after the accident. This car is seen parked on the side of the road. It's coming through. It's being parked. There are 2 other people who are waiting there. The people inside the car, the 5 accused, they get out. And one of the accused persons gets out of the car, goes to the back of the car, and then looks down at the bottom below the chassis of the car to see what is there. Now, why that footage is important is because that shows that these people in the car knew that there was something below the car which was restricting its movement. Now, by this time, there is no timestamp on this video, but by this time, the body had already been flung off from the car. But the fact that the accused goes on to the rear side of the car, looks under the chassis of the car to see what was obstructing its movement, clearly shows that they knew that there was something below the car which was impeding its movement. Let me now bring in our guests who are joining us. Anuja Kapoor, spokesperson of the BJP, Abhinandita Mathur is spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party, Dr. Vikram Singh, former IPS officer, former DGP, Anubhav Rastogi, senior advocate, will also be joining us. Anuja Kapoor, let me start with you first. Again, today what the Delhi police press conference revealed, and it's raising very, very serious questions. After 4 days, the Delhi police are now revealing there are 2 more accused, not just the